Hi, my name is Paris Duimami, and I'm the host of The Road to Success for Your Highly Sensitive Child. This podcast is about empowering parents of highly sensitive children to nurture their child's unique personality trait and create a path to success. Our podcast provides guidance, insights, and support to help you unlock your child's full potential, fostering resilience, confidence, and a bright future. If you're new to my podcast, please go back and listen to episodes 1 and 2 because they provide information on high sensitivity that all subsequent episodes will build upon. If you skip these episodes, you won't get as much out of this and it's all subsequent episodes. To book a private coaching session with me, please click on the link in my bio or go to www.pod.co/coach to parents of HSC, all one word. Today's episode is all about the do's and don'ts around parenting your highly sensitive child and some common misconceptions around high sensitivity. There's so much to cover that I'm doing a part 1 and part 2 for this, and this episode is covering part 1. So let's get into it. What are some of the do's? Number 1, and most importantly, is to educate yourself on this personality trait. It's so important that you understand what high sensitivity is all about. The more you understand your child's personality trait, the easier parenting becomes for you. The less frustrated you will become, and the easier it will be for you to help your child. The more knowledge you have and the more you understand your child, the more seen, heard, and understood your child will feel. Number 2 is acknowledge and accept their sensitivity. This is so crucial because by acknowledging and accepting your child exactly the way they are, you're fostering confidence and self-worth. And it's so nice and amazing that you have such a beautiful and unique child. Remember that only 20% of the global population has this personality trait. So this is so unique and so amazing that you have the opportunity to parent a high sensitive child. By recognizing and accepting that your child's sensitivity is a natural and inherent trait, you will be able to really focus on their strengths and unique qualities. And this is so important because as a society, especially in the Western world, we really don't see high sensitivity as a strength. We see it as a weakness. And it's so important that you as a parent don't see this as a weakness in your child because your child is so in tune with you because of their high sensitivity that they will notice if you don't approve of their sensitivity or if you're not happy with it or if you want to change them. They will see that even if you don't use your words to communicate this, but they will see it, they will feel it because they're extremely in tune with you and their environment and themselves. So it's so important that they feel accepted and celebrated. And that's the word celebrated is the key here. Number 3, teach your child about their personality trait. It's really important that they understand what's going on because they know they're different than all the other kids. They know that they're different than, I should say, the majority of the kids. And so since they already know they're different, it's really beneficial that you tell them what is different about them. And you tell them about the personality trait. You tell them that it's something that they're born with and how unique it is, how amazing it is. And you know, provide them with examples, specific examples of what their strengths are. Because as an HSC, they will concentrate on their challenges or weaknesses. Although I don't really like to use the word weaknesses, because I prefer to use the word challenges. Um, because of the fact that they are highly sensitive, they will most likely be a perfectionist. And as a perfectionist, we will see our flaws very prominently, and we will focus on them, and we will make them enormous. And so you as a parent can do a really great job with defocusing on the challenges and weaknesses. I'm not saying ignore them, but I'm just saying don't focus on them. Focus on their strength, because the more you foster their strength, and the more you give them concrete example as detailed as possible, the better your chances are of building a child or nurturing a child that has very high confidence and self acceptance and self love. When you are a highly sensitive child, again, as I mentioned before, you're a perfectionist. So, because of that, you may really suffer from self love and self acceptance. That's where the parenting will come in to encourage self love and self acceptance, and really demonstrate why being a perfectionist is not a really, healthy way of living, because nobody's perfect. And no matter how hard you try, you will not be perfect. Nobody is perfect. So believe me, I've tried all my life. And thanks to Brene Brown, several years ago, I read her book about perfectionism, and I learned that I need to really focus on not being a perfectionist. And I worked on myself quite extensively, because, for all my life, I've been a perfectionist. So it was very challenging for me to change myself. But I'm happy to say that I wouldn't say I'm not a perfectionist anymore, but if I was 100% perfectionist before, today I'm 10% perfectionist. So it's dramatically improved. So it's really important that you're really giving them a lot of feedback and show them your strengths. For example, my brother does this with his daughter all the time, where he's constantly praising her and telling her what an amazing job she's doing communicating with her teachers, and by basically using her empathy and intuition to do a great job communicating with the basically the school staff, not just the teachers. Number 4, advocate for your child. This is so crucial. And by advocating for your child, I mean advocate with everyone that they interact with. I'm being a little bit inclusive, maybe a little bit too much inclusive here, but I want to emphasize this for you, because this point is very important. You need to advocate for your child when it comes to their teachers, their babysitters, their parents, friends. I'm sorry, I meant to say their friends' parents, rather, and doctors, dentists, basically anyone that you feel that is involved in your child's life in some way, in some capacity. You want to educate them. You want to tell them what this personality trait is about. You want to tell them what the strengths are and what their challenges are. And again, every child is unique. Every highly sensitive child is unique. So you really want to give details about your child as specific as possible, so that these teachers or caregivers have a really good understanding about your child, and understand what their needs are and how they can care for them in the way that fosters and encourages their high sensitivity. So, so basically, what I like to use is I like to use the phrase, this would look like, and then you can fill in the blank. So you would tell the teacher, for example, my child gets overstimulated when introduced to new experiences. It's best to give her time to observe before expecting her to join in. Please don't push her to engage sooner than she's ready. And you could give an example that starts with, this would look like, like, I don't know what activity your child might be engaged in, or that maybe there's some new activity that they're going to encounter. So you can use this phrase and give the example and as detailed as possible. Number 5 is make sure you raise your highly sensitive child in a way that builds a healthy attachment style. If you don't know what an attachment style is, please listen to my episode on attachment styles. And that's going to be an upcoming episode. Number 6, create a calm and predictable environment. Having a stable and predictable home environment is extremely crucial for a highly sensitive child. And that's because they like to know what to expect. This helps with reducing their feelings of anxiety, and it gives them control. And they really like to know what's coming, to feel in control, because the more they can control their environment, the safer they feel. And I guess they just feel calmer and less anxious. Number 7 is encourage open communication. Really, from as early on as possible, try to encourage open communication. Give them a safe place so that they know that they can come to you with anything and they won't be judged, they won't be punished. There won't be any negative consequences of them communicating to you about their feelings, what has happened, what they're thinking, any of that. So the more they communicate with you, the better you can understand them, and therefore the better you can adjust your parenting style to accommodate for them. So encourage your highly sensitive child to remember their dreams as well. This is part of communicating, actually. So it's really important. For example, for me, I didn't learn about the importance of dreams. I have extremely vivid dreams. They're very detailed. They're very colorful. They have many characters. It has a visual and audio. It has all the senses, basically. And so when I learned how important my dreams are, I've been recording them on my phone, but also I've been basically writing them down. So I first record them because I don't want to wake up and write down my dream. And unfortunately, as you age, your memory is not as great. So I wouldn't remember my dreams if I don't take the time to record them when I'm right after I'm at a state where I can actually record it. So, but for your child, their memory is going to be amazing as children. So what you could do is encourage them either to use the technique that I use. If they don't have a phone, maybe you could get them a recording device, or they could have a dream journal where they write down as much detail as possible from their dream. And what this does is, first of all, this gives them as early on as possible, this gives them a very important tool in their life that they could use for all of their life to better understand their emotions and better understand what their body is processing as they're sleeping. So and as a parent, this gives you a lot of information. If you encourage your child to share with you, if they feel comfortable sharing their dreams, then what you could do is you could look for patterns. What are they dreaming about? Are the patterns, do you pick up any patterns? Are there characters in the dreams that are reoccurring? Are there emotions in the dreams that are reoccurring? These are really important information that the child could be communicating to you, so that you know what it is that is causing anxiety for them, what it is that is causing, for example, different emotions like sadness or worry. And then what you could do is you could use that information and you can teach them coping mechanisms, for example, or you could teach them, help them process it, process this emotions better. I use that right now. I use that for myself all the time. I sit there and listen to my dreams, and then I write them down, and then I start to analyze it to see if what story my dream is telling me about my conscious waking hours. So it helps me really process everything that's going on in my life. And I'm able to look to see what areas of my life I need to be healed in. And I work on those areas. So I've learned a lot about my dreams. And they can really provide valuable clues about your subconscious thoughts and feelings. And reflecting on these emotions can lead to a better understanding of what this emotional state is during our waking time. And remember that each child is unique, and what works for one may not work for another. Be attuned to your child's individual needs and adapt your parenting strategies accordingly. Remember that consistent love, understanding, and support are fundamental elements in nurturing a highly sensitive child. To book a private coaching session with me, please click on the link in my bio or go to www.pod.co/coaching parents of HSC, all one word. So let's get into some of the don'ts. Don't dismiss or minimize their feelings. If your child comes to you and says, if they have a sibling or a friend, they come and tell you a story and tell you that they feel sad about it, don't minimize their feeling. Don't say, "Oh, you shouldn't feel sad. That's nothing." Really acknowledge and validate their emotions, because remember, highly sensitive children, they feel a lot deeper and they are taking in a lot more than a non-sensitive person from their environment, from the people that they're interacting with, and they themselves are processing a lot internally. So don't dismiss their emotions, whatever they may be. Number two, don't use negative labels. Negative labels really hurt an HSC because, again, remember that they're going to be hypercritical of themselves already, and they're most likely going to be a perfectionist. So you don't want to be using any negative labels, because that would even make the situation worse. You want to teach them not to criticize themselves. You want to teach them to foster and celebrate their uniqueness and their strengths. And don't force them into uncomfortable situations. For example, if your child doesn't want to, if all the other children are, climbing the playground and your child doesn't want to because they have fear over it, don't push them to do something that they're not comfortable with. Just give them the space that they need to take in that new thing, whatever it may be, observe it, see what other kids are doing, and then decide for themselves if this is something that they want to do. Now, you could encourage them by, telling them, for example, it's safe, I'm here for you, I can help you. But at the end of the day, give them the space they need to make that decision of whether they want to engage or not. And then, of course, don't compare them to siblings or peers. My parents made this mistake with me where they constantly compared me to my brother and told me, how come you're not like your brother? Even though my brother is also highly sensitive, but my brother is an extrovert, whereas I'm more of an introvert. And they really wanted me to be like him, where he would really be funny and entertaining people. And I was more into my own little world where I wanted to read and I wanted to be in my own little world where I could be having, foster my, imagination, because I had a really amazing imagination. And I really wanted to have some time to myself, whereas my brother wanted to be with everyone. So yeah, don't compare your children. If they have siblings, don't compare them to the siblings. If they have friends, definitely don't compare them to the friends. Just really accept their uniqueness and celebrate it. And then don't criticize. Criticizing a highly sensitive child really just fosters the feeling of inadequacy and that they're not enough. So definitely don't criticize them. If they've done something wrong and you need to talk about it, you can do so without criticizing them. You could let them know what they did, just let them know what it is that they did wrong, without criticizing them, and then tell them, what would have been a better approach, so that they can learn from their mistake. And then you don't want to overwhelm them. So don't expect them to engage in so many activities where they would feel overwhelmed. And so really understand that they have this, they're taking they're taking in a lot, so they're being stimulated a lot more than a non highly sensitive child. So they need time to process and recover from the various stimuli in their environment. So make sure that you respect that time that they need to process things, and also the time that they need to to just be them. And if they need to have some downtime, that's okay. And the last item is don't punish your child's sensitivity. Again, this would foster the feelings of being inadequate. So you definitely don't want to punish them for having this amazing, unique personality trait that has so many strengths. And then let's now get into some common misconceptions. Misconception number one is high sensitivity is a medical condition or a disorder. High sensitivity is definitely a personality trait that you're born with. This is inherited. If your child is highly sensitive, chances are one of the parents are highly sensitive as well. If it's not the parents, it's definitely the grandparents. And then misconception number two is you can change this personality trait. No, you can't. Again, this is a hereditary personality trait and it cannot be changed. Yes, as an adult, I have adapted myself to my environment to fit in because I thought I needed to. But ever since I learned about my this personality trait, I am hyper vigilant about not adapting to my environment where I can, and just celebrating my uniqueness and celebrating the fact that I'm a highly sensitive person and just let my authenticity shine. So these days, I'm all about authenticity. And misconception number 3 is only introverts are highly sensitive. Again, that is not the case. As we spoke in earlier episodes, 70% of highly sensitive people are introverts and 30% are extroverts. As we close this episode, I want to remind you that you have the power to create a bright and successful future for your highly sensitive child. Embrace their uniqueness, nurture their strengths, and provide them with the love and support they need. Together, we can pave a path to success that aligns with their sensitivity. Thank you for joining us today. And remember, you're not alone on this journey. We'll be here with more insights and inspiration in our next episode. Until then, keep believing in your child's potential because they truly are extraordinary. Stay tuned, stay inspired, and stay committed to setting your child up for success in life. To book a private coaching session with me, please click on the link in my bio or go to www.pod.co/coach to parents of HSC, all one word.